Hi, this is Long Vo. Today I'm analyzing one of my games against my brother Bao Vo. Today is June the 28th, 2012, and I'm playing white and my brother is playing black. So I go e4, he goes d6, this is the Pierce defense. I go d4, he goes f6, knight f6, attacking the e pawn. So I defend with knight to c3. So g6, getting ready to fianchetto and castle kingside. So f4. So here I see the opportunity to gain a lot of space on the in the center, and bishop to g7 and knight to f3 with the idea of pushing this pawn here because I have three defenders. Castle kingside, e5, threatening the knight. D takes e, f takes e. I don't want to open the d file or else he'll exchange the queens and my knight would be in a bad position. So knight to d5, threatening my knight, but instead I'd rather develop. So g5, bishop to g5, just being in his face there and taunting him to try to kick my dark squared bishop out of there. So f6, threatening the bishop. E takes f, e takes f, still threatening the bishop. So I think it would have been a better move if I retreated this way, but then the only spot would block off my queen, right? Because the knight is here. So the only other option is bishop to h4. So rook to e8, check. So I take the opportunity to develop my light squared bishop. So bishop to e2, knight to e3, threatening the queen. This is a good move because his next move is to fork the king and the bishop and gaining a pawn. So queen to d2. So this is a good move. He's gained material. So knight to g2, threatening check, forking the dark squared bishop, and x-raying the king and pinning the light squared bishop. So that's a good move. So king to f2, attacking the knight and connecting my rooks. Knight takes h4, knight takes h4. So here he goes f6, opening the diagonal for his queen to attack my knight, also opening the diagonal for his dark squared bishop. So that's a good move. Luckily for me I saw it. So knight to f3, c6. So I don't really understand this move. I don't think it's a strong move. I guess he's opening the diagonal for his queen to develop here. Anyways, he's taking a good square away from his knight, So I go rook to g1 with the idea of later on retreating the king, because if I retreat the king I would be blocking off the a rook, and also I want to double up the rooks, do like a small rook lift here and double up the rooks to x-ray the king. I could have gone here as well, but I think x-raying the king is always a better move. So knight to d7. So rook to g3. Knight to f6. So he's bringing a piece into the defense. Then I go rook to g1, doubling my rooks. So now he delivers check. So knight to e4 check, forking the queen and the rook. So I have no choice. Knight takes e4 and f takes e4, threatening the knight. So at this point I wanted to continue with the attack. So rook takes g6. So here, if he takes, then my idea would be to take again, take back, and then I would find a way to bring the queen into the action here. So I didn't really see his attack, and I think he could have won because you know, I'm down a rook and maybe I don't have enough pieces around his king, and he does have active defending pieces here, so I think he's still okay. But instead of taking my knight, he advances the pawn and forks the king and the queen. So e3 check. So I have no choice. Queen takes e3. Rook takes e3. And instead of taking back right away, rook takes g7 check. So this is a good move because if he moves the king to the f file, so f8, I would simply deliver check here, and I would be exchanging the queen, getting the queen, and then so it's not too bad, right? So I would be leading in this case. So he decides to go king to h8, and then I go king takes e3. So now he feels a bit of pressure. So he goes queen to e8 check. So I run my king to d2. Staying on the dark squares because if I go to d3, then he could develop his bishop with temple and deliver check. So now he goes bishop to e6, protecting from the fork here, because eventually if I check him here, he would have to exchange, right? Which is still not a bad thing. he would still be up in material. So instead I go bishop to d3, attacking the h pawn and threatening checkmate. So he goes queen to h5, threatening the knight. Well, not really. He's defending the h pawn, because if he takes the knight, then it's checkmate. So now I go rook to g5. Really the idea here is to block off any lines of delivering check for him, because if he goes here he could deliver check. So now the rook is threatening the queen, and I'm trying to remove the defender here. So the queen can't go here, she could go here, she can't take, so there's only 2 squares for her to go to. So he goes queen to h6, maintaining contact. So at this point he resigns, but if we were to continue, it would be rook takes h7 check, and he would have no choice but to capture with the queen. So queen takes h7, and bishop takes h7, and king takes h7. So now I'm up in material with 2 pawns, and really all his pawns are on one side of the board. So the knight is just as good as the bishop right here, and his king is inactive because it's pinned. So this is a good setup for me, and I'll probably find a way to exchange with the bishop, or even exchange with the rooks, and go into an end game with a pass pawn, and my king is closer to his other pawns here.